Trump just made America's biggest mistake. They drove the workers away. Now the whole country is falling apart. Latest news from the White House. Massive evictions backfired. California farmers watched $2 billion worth of crops rot in the fields. 4,000 farm workers disappeared overnight. Grocery prices up 40% in 2 weeks, and it's only going to get worse. Construction sites in Texas look like ghost towns, half-finished hospitals, schools, bridges, just abandoned there. Contractors say we lost 80% of our workforce in one raid.
Donald Trump, don't backpedal now. Now you're saying or acting like you're regretting or that it was a mistake that you did this mass deportation, although you set it in place and this was planned and thought out way before your presidency when y'all were concocting up this Project 2025. You had plenty of time to think about the consequences this was going to have, and you still proceeded with it. So now
dozens of Texas farms shut down overnight. Why? Because 100% of the workforce has vanished. It's not a mystery. They haven't gone missing. They've left because of immigration raids and policies that treat the people that grow our food, even the ones with work permits, like criminals. No workers means no harvest. Do you think food's expensive now? Just wait.
So my wife was having a conversation with a family member who happens to be married to a farmer, and the family member was talking about how they recently had lost a number of workers due to deportations and how that was going to affect them, that work on the farm wasn't going to get done, that they might not produce as much milk or as much grains as they normally would because they wouldn't have the workers to get this done. And once again, it shows that, one, Trump supporters, as these individuals are, don't care about the people. They care about only things when they affect themselves. They only care when it's going to affect the money that they make, or in this case, that they're actually going to have to go out and do what farmers should be doing, which is working in their fields.
Y'all, this gringa literally just come up with the best idea in the history of United States of America. Okay, so I'm sure you've heard Florida, Las Vegas, Texas, and several other states are in a workers' crisis. They say they have a workers' deficit because they are lacking workers in the construction, hotel, farming, restaurant industry because of all of these mass deportations, right? They are in desperate need of workers. Well, we all know that a lot of MAGA supporters were screaming and shouting that, oh, all of these Hispanic people were taking their jobs. They're stealing our jobs. They're taking our jobs. Well, right now, in these states, there's plenty of jobs open, but nobody wants to do them.
Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we need to talk about something serious and honestly a bit ironic. Across the United States, ICE has been cracking down hard immigrants, many of whom have lived in the US for years, are being arrested, detained and deported. Some are even fleeing their homes out of fear before ICE can even reach them. But now, in a twist that's not all that surprising, some white farmers are in tears. Why? Because the very people they depended on to work on their farms are suddenly gone. And now, they are blaming the Democrats. Let's break it down.
you're just realizing that all immigrants aren't criminals. Now you want to realize that they are actually hardworking people that have been working on these farms for over 20 years and just want to make an honest living for their family. Now you want to realize that now you have shipped all these hardworking immigrants off to their native land, that us Americans are not going to want to work in these fields for the prices that they are paying these immigrants. Now you're seeing that the farmers are suffering because of your dumb ass decisions. And it's sad because your blatant racism wouldn't allow you to actually delve into how agriculture works and how important the immigrants are when it comes to farming. And now you want to sit on a podium saying something needs to be done and that we have to use our common sense. Don't get French with us now. We ain't got to do nothing because I did not vote for you. I did not do this. So you need to fix this since They, the MAGA people, voted for you.
They enjoy drawing benefits and reaping benefits without having to work. Seems to be a very common problem. So here's my idea to help this situation. Anybody that gets benefits but are perfectly able to work should be mandated to work. So we need to start detaining those individuals and bringing them to those job sites to do those jobs if they are getting benefits yet not employed. That's what we need to do. They need to be forced to work. We need to round them up, force them to work. If they don't have any work ethic, or if they complain and don't want to do these jobs that nobody seems to desire, then we need to withdraw their benefits. Because what are they doing for the United States of America if they are not being productive citizens of this country? We need to withdraw their benefits. And if withdrawing their benefits does not give them a work ethic, then we need to start detaining, rounding them up, and deporting them to third world countries where they literally have to start from zero, see how privileged they actually were in the United States of America, and gain a work ethic there. Who's in agreement? Let's make America great again.
Working in their barns. They didn't care that the people are deported. They care that they might lose some money and that they're going to have to actually work for a little bit of time. They don't care about the people. And it's another one of those we told you so moments.
And this isn't just a Texas issue. It's your dinner table, your kids' school lunch, your grocery bill, your local farmer's market. You want America first? Well, guess what? America just ran out of farm workers. And it turns out crops don't pick themselves. We've arrested, detained, or deported the workforce. And now we don't have enough food. There aren't enough people to take care of the livestock either. Guess what? Cows don't feed themselves. Chickens can't clean their own pens. And then they get sick and they die. And there goes your milk, your eggs, and your cheeseburger. This is what happens when we let people write policy who haven't worked a day in their life, especially on a farm, but they never miss a steak dinner. We need migrant workers. We need labor protections for the migrant workers. If the workforce continues to disappear, so will all the food on your plates.
Here's what's going on. For years, American farms have relied heavily on immigrant labor. These are the people who wake up before sunrise, work long hours in harsh conditions, and keep Americans' food supply flowing. Many of them were undocumented, but they still did this work quietly and reliably, often for very little pay. They have been the backbone of the farming industry, but now they are being treated like criminals. Accidents have been increasing as farming communities. People are being pulled from homes, jobs, and families. Even those with the documentations are scared. And with this aggressive environment, many immigrants have just left on their own. They'd rather disappear than be detained or deported. As a result, farms, especially those in the Republican-led areas, are left in trouble. And here comes the farmers, the same ones who cheered for Trump's tough immigration policies and chanted, "Build the wall," are now crying out because their crops are rotting. Their profits are disappearing. Some are even considering shutting down. And instead of facing the truth, some are pointing fingers at Democrats, acting like this crisis came out of nowhere. Let's be honest, these incidents were not a surprise. They are a direct result of the very policies many of these farmers supported. They wanted a hard line of immigration. They got it. And now that it's hurting their wallets and their farms, they are looking for someone else to blame. But what did they think was going to happen? Some farmers are even saying things like, "We thought they would only deport the bad ones." But immigration enforcement doesn't work that way. When the system is designed to target undocumented people, it doesn't stop to check if someone is a good worker or a nice person. It sweeps in and takes people away. Mothers, farmers, long-time residents, all gone. And now the same people who didn't listen when immigration communities warned about these policies are feeling the heat. The hypocrisy is clear. They supported mass deportation and now want to complain when these deportations affect their businesses. Some are trying to flip the narrative and blame Biden or Democrats, even though many of the immigration tools being used were expanded and normalized during Trump's presidency. Isolates, detention centers, and family separations became major headlines back then. And now those policies are being felt deeply in the agricultural sector. The stories are painful to watch. Empty fields, rotting crops, lost lessons, workers who disappeared overnight, kids left without parents, families devastated, and through it all, these farmers are finally realizing just how much they relied on the very people they pushed out. This is not just about business, this is about human life. These migrant workers were doing jobs that many Americans don't want to do. They worked in silence, often in fear, and helped keep the entire industry running. And instead of being treated with dignity, they were criminalized. Now these farmers are stuck. They can't find workers. They are calling job centers, but few Americans want to work in extreme conditions for minimum wage. It's not just about finding a job, it's about the years of experience and trust that has now been lost. And here's where it gets even more frustrating. When immigrants were being targeted, many people tried to speak up. Black and brown communities, activists, and human rights groups want that these policies were inhuman and dangerous. But a lot of people didn't listen, especially in rural farming areas that supported Trump. Now with labor disappearing and their businesses at risk, those same communities are being forced to face reality. Policies have consequences, elections have consequences, and it's not just about the people at the border who are affected. When you vote for policies that dehumanize others, it eventually comes back to hurt everyone, including those who support them. This should be a wake-up call. If these farmers truly want things to change, blaming Democrats isn't the answer. They need to look at the system they supported. They need to ask themselves, why were they okay with the deportations until it affected them? And most importantly, they need to stand up and support real immigration reform. America cannot keep on deporting the very people who keep its economy running. They cannot pretend to be shocked when the house starts crumbling after they helped break its foundation. And they certainly shouldn't be surprised that people outside their communities are watching this unfold and saying, didn't we warn you all? This is a moment for reflection, for accountability, because if the farming industry wants to survive, it's going to take more than just a cheap labor. It's going to take empathy, fairness, and policies that value human dignity. If you're coming across this channel for the first time, please consider subscribing, give this video a thumbs up, and let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.